Yo, welcome back to another episode of On Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we're joined by a former professional hockey goaltender and current professional goalie coach, Pete Salvo, aka the Mad Dog. He's been on plenty of times before, so nothing new, but he's a great goalie coach around the area. He's with Mega Goaltending right now. He was with CBR Brave and the AI in the Australian Ice Hockey League last season, and he's also taking on a D3 college, I believe, as well right now, Saint Scholastica, right?
Yep, that's right.
Perfect. It's good to have you back on the show, Pete. So welcome to the show, Pete DeSalvo.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, of course. Always good to get you on because it's always going to be a good episode, and there's a lot of controversial goaltending techniques and stuff that we get into, so it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and I agree. I'm excited to dive into it, give you my opinion on a couple of things backed up by some facts. So, let's hop on to it. What do you got for me?
Yeah, so like obviously in the goalie world, the RVH is one of the like most controversial topics to date. So like what's your take on like the RVH? And like I know there's a lot of like RVH goals that happen all the time, especially in the NHL, which should not be going into like what's your take on the RVH and just everything
Are you
surrounding
talking
that.
about? Are you talking about the goals like in preseason on Montembeault Bowl and the one in the AHL and Jack Campbell previously?
Yeah.
Most currently, yeah. So first off, there's only one way to position yourself on the post in the RVH, and it's not skate blade, it's not toe inside the post. It's you got to have your toe bridge on the post. You got to have toe bridge on the post. That gives you the best seal for one. Gets rid of those little tiny holes, and the complaint I hear is, well, those goals don't happen often. Well, they do. They still do happen. Who cares if it's not often? They happen. They shouldn't be happening. They're terrible goals. You can't, even if you give up two in a whole season, that's two goals that could have been taken off of your GAA
Yeah.
and help your save for two. If you want to look at it in a bit of a selfish way, but at the same time, you're also helping your team by having a proper seal, right? And the other thing with the toe bridge is that it gives you the easiest way to rotate on the post because we have to adjust our angle depending on where the player is going to skate, if he's going to go through the crease, if his only option is an in tight pass. There's all there's all those type of things too. So it gives you the best rotation on the post, and it eases off the hips too, right? Like when you have
Yeah.
your skate blade on the post, you have to use your hips so much more than you would if you had your toe bridge on to rotate to get your proper angle. It just skate blade just destroys your hips that much more.
And it's
Right. So
already
there,
a bad position to be in, especially with the hips and ankles and everything.
yeah,
So it's already gonna be
yeah,
taxing on the body.
yeah. Like when you watch me play, like I use the RVH, but I didn't use it super often. I was more of a regular VH guy, but I've like my last 2 years in the league, I played with hip spurs in both my hips. And I still have them now. I get the knee pains from time to time from the tugging on them and all that. It's not too bad, but like just yeah, you got to be careful with it. So like thankfully I was using the way I learned it, I was using it the proper way too. So and just a couple of other like controversial things about the RVH too, like guys are using it way too often, like pucks in the corner, goalies are down in their RVH looking for the puck in a scramble, or if it's just on the half wall, like there's no need. You always have the most control on your feet.
Yeah.
Like sliding and all that works, but it's only for in tight stuff. Like if a guy say like pucks in the corner, wall battles happening, you don't need to be down your RVH. You need to be on your feet so you can get ready for A to Z, not A to B. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like say opposing team wins that wall battle in the corner and he starts to attack the net, and you know that his only options are driving the net low or there's a in tight pass, then you can drop right away. But like how many times like in the bubble when Montreal played Pittsburgh to get that last playoff spot, like Matt Murray's overdoing the RVH. He has his arm wrapped around the post and he thinks he's taking away the puck angle, but the puck is so far away that Montreal was able to roof it on him.
Yeah.
Like it happens so much more than people think. And the reason we don't see it as much is because the goalies who do it the most, they don't want to advertise that on them because they don't want them to get exposed and seeing like, oh, he's doing that wrong. Like Vasilevsky's notorious for it too. I've seen him get beat like that like 5 or 6 times in one season, but they don't highlight it the most because it's vast and they want to advertise him as the best goalie in the world. And like I get that he's a good goalie, but he does a lot of things wrong, including that. He overcomplicates his game. That's all it is. When you're doing these things, like, yeah, it works for me. Yeah, it works for you. But why? What if you simplify it? How much better is that going to work for you? That's the key thing when playing goaltending. Is you got to look to simplify your game as much as possible.
Yeah. And while you simplify everything, like it's gonna create less goals that you give up and less GAs against, and it'll help. It'll just help like overall just simplify your game and just know what's best for you, and like to advertise like the as the best goalies, like to advertise that in positions that you should be when you shouldn't be in them.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many other like little gimmicks too that guys use too. Here's another thing about the RVH too. So the Finnish League Liga.
Yeah.
So bear with me on this. This ties in with the RVH. You know that the goalies in Liga are not allowed to use bungee cords on their pads. They can't use pro laces or anything. They have to use
Really?
skate laces. Yeah, because they did a study there that proves that with your post work in the RVH, when you're pushing off the post, especially on the toe bridge, because that's what all their goalie coaches teach their goalies to use. When you push off your post, bungee cords and pro laces slow you down by about half a second.
Hmm.
Because the way you gotta look at it, so that especially pro laces, like out of all the bungee cords, pro laces are by far the best ones. I gave them a
Yeah.
try; they felt great on my feet and all that. But the problem is that when you get your toe bridge on the post to get that proper seal rotation, that elasticity. Sorry, mumbling my words. I can't even say. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
The
Elasticity or
elastic
what?
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word. There's so much of it that when you go to push off the post, it just wraps around the post so much and then it launches you. Think of it like if you're on a trampoline, you're not going to jump into the air straight away, right?
Yeah.
That trampoline's going to absorb you and then launch you. That's the same thing with the bungee cords. It does the exact same thing a trampoline does when you jump. So a skate lace on your pad instead with a couple of knots so you have that extra slack. That's more stiff, so you push off the post right away. Like when I tried the bungee cord, I tried it for about 3 4 weeks. I put a skate lace back on a captain skate. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sticking with these. I'm way faster. I feel the post more. I have more control of my pad, bringing it across with me. Even on my feet, I felt more control of my pads. So I got rid of the pro laces right away.
Yeah. Like I've always like I've always hated this dude using the skate lace. Like I've gone the bungee ever since like I got my third set of pads, I believe. And like but like it just feels a lot more natural to me than the skate lace, honestly. But like I'm tempted, like after you said that, to maybe go back and try and give it more of an open thought and see if like
Yeah,
I do notice a difference.
like try it. And if you don't notice a difference, then you put your bungee cords back on. What's the harm
Yeah.
in that, right? You just got to put them on right because with the bungee cords too, like the whole purpose of them as well is to put less stress on your ankles, knees, and hips. If you have enough slack on your skate lace, like 2 to 4 inches, find that sweet spot for yourself. It does the exact same thing because it's not
Yeah.
tugging on your pad as much.
Yeah, exactly. And like the worst part about like the skate lace is like when it comes like undone, like and you're just like slipping sliding on it, like
Yeah.
when like one of
Well,
the laces just snap.
just do this then. If your knot comes undone where you tie it up, if that's one of your issues, just find the sweet spot with you take your Velcro from your bungee cords, put the skate lace through that, and tie a knot. You could find a sweet spot with that as well.
Yeah, that's another good option. Just gotta be more open minded to like try new things and
Yeah,
never know
like
what could happen.
all of my goalies that I train with here, aside from a couple of the young ones, just because their parents aren't sure how to do it, I got them
Yeah.
all to switch out of bungee cords. Aside from one of my goalies, refuses. I said, okay, if you're gonna wear them, you have to wear pro laces then.
Yeah.
So
Was he
that's what
wearing
he
something
went.
else besides pro laces before that?
He had the standard Bowers on them, and he switched
Gotcha.
to pro laces, and he likes them way more. So
Yeah. But that's funny that you're able to convince everyone else to switch besides one person.
Yeah, I got them all, and every kid notices the difference and how much better it feels, especially like those cheap ones that come standard on pads that are just
Yeah.
like 5 inches long. Like they don't even do the purpose of what a bungee cord's actually supposed to do, aside from be convenient of putting on, being easier to put on.
Yeah, exactly. It just takes that much longer to put it to, or that much quicker to put your pad on.
Yeah, no, but I get like it's they want it to be easier for kids.
Yeah.
It's more convenient and all that kind of stuff, but convenient doesn't always mean best.
Yeah. Yeah. Just doesn't always mean that's gonna be the best option. Like you just gotta play around with everything and see what goes best for
Yeah,
you, best
exactly.
for what your position is.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like trying on different brands of gear. You're gonna find something that feels best, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you're just gonna ride with it after.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like did you saw the Connor Bedard goal in the when it was during the preseason game that we're talking about where the Blues goalie was in the RVH and at the
Yeah,
face-off dot,
yeah. He
yeah,
was down
on the left
way
side.
too
Yeah,
early.
why are you in the RVH on? Like I see goalies all the time do that now, and it's like why? Like you're giving up the
Yeah,
entire top corner and far side.
I don't like. I've heard so many different excuses. Oh, it's easier to find the puck in their feet. It's like you're literally going down maybe a foot and a half
Yeah,
from where you are. You're making yourself smaller and you're doing an extra movement. Stay on your feet, conserve your legs. Because when you're down on your knees like that for an excess amount of time, you build up that lactic acid too.
yeah, and
Like
it's gonna slow you down a little bit.
it's definitely an overused tool. It's a great tool to use, but it's way overused, and too many goalies are just using it because they see all these other like NHL guys, KHL guys using it all the time. It's like, no, there's a time and place for it, and it's
Yeah,
way overused.
yeah, it's like I used to be the one where it'd be like, oh, I'd be using it way too much, but like within maybe a stick length, like that's the only time I'll use it. Every other time, like I'm on my feet.
Depending on how quick you are too. For me,
Yeah,
I'd have to do it like a stick and a half, 2 stick lengths away, because towards my last 3 years of playing, I was starting to feel the Luongo effect. It's getting a
yeah,
little slower. I was still able to give it my all, right. So, but it all depends on how quick you can get down into it too.
yeah, exactly. Just depends on the amount of time and how like how fast you can be, like you said.
Yeah, like some goalies I've seen, they're able to just like jump into it right
Yeah,
away. It's like if only my hips worked like that, it would have been so much easier. But the OG VH, it works too. Just some like for me, that's what worked for me. You just have to know how to use it properly. I still teach regular VH too because some of my young goalies don't know how to use an RVH right now. So we just use regular VH for now. And as they get older, they get stronger. That's when I'll start teaching them more RVH stuff.
yeah. It's like what is like the proper way for to use the VH instead of the RVH?
It's more so just for it. Well, again, it depends on where the players are, the
Yeah,
type of play it is, all that kind of stuff. But basic setup, obviously, one knee down, one knee up. You want your blocker to be a little bit tighter to your body so you don't have that open hole underneath your armpit. And this is on the glove side. And you want your glove to be over top of your pad.
yeah,
And then depending glove on top of the pad, and then depending on where the player is. So if you know the player has a clear lane to the net and can take you from post to post, you have to have your on your glove side, you'd have to have your blocker side leg more on your goal line so you can go post to post.
yeah,
Because if you're more on an angle, you're going to push out of your net and the guy can go right around you. Now, if there's no lane to drive, then you can square up more and bring that leg around to take away that net angle because all they have is a little step out. That way you can get your small little push on that step out. And same thing, vice versa on the other side. The other side's a little more complicated because your stick kind of gets in the way. So it's more so you got to get your elbow up a little bit more on your pad and try to keep your stick on the ice at the same time.
yeah,
And same thing, glove a little bit tighter to your body. You don't want it down on the ice. So
yeah,
shit, I think I'm
exactly.
losing you again.
Yeah, and it's just like
Can you stop?
that stick side is
Okay.
definitely harder to keep down, but like yeah, once you get like that arm up more, like it makes it a little bit more easier.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you just got to be a little more aware to react with that blocker side arm if the shot comes up higher.
Yeah.
It might look a little old school, but it's one of those things where if you have to use that technique still, again, the thing you got to remember is you got to use it in tight. If you're using it when the players are too far away, they're going to have that little bit of that extra room. Like, look how many players, top NHL players, can pick those corners. They see a puck
Oh
size
yeah.
hole and a goalie's not moving. They'll pick it every single time. I've had so many discussions about this because, like, you've seen it on my Instagram story. Oh, if he had just done this, he would have made the save. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, well, and then that's where the argument comes again. Well, it doesn't happen often. Yeah, but it still happens, and it shouldn't be
And it's still a goal
happening. I
against.
can understand. Yeah, I can understand like once every 3-4 years it's going to happen. Everybody lets in bad
Yeah.
goals, but if you can at least put yourself in a proper position and then you give up the bad goal, I'd rather that than put yourself in a bad position, and that's why you gave up the bad goal.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Because
all about like
bad goals
time and place.
will happen. Yeah, so time and place. Just my philosophy is give yourself the best chance
Yeah.
every single time. And if you make it harder on yourself, you know what? You made it harder on yourself. And if you have done this, maybe you would have made that save then. It's like
Yeah.
it's like even with my goalies at Scholastica, I'm showing them a couple of new things that they've never been aware of, and they're trying to add it to their game, and it's been working for them. We're 6-0 right now.
There you go. Yeah, and getting those wins and having your goalies get the best chance to make that save, make those saves. Yeah, so you're just there. Your goalies are just giving your team the best chance to win and make those saves for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. You always got to like it, as selfish as it could sound, as you don't want you want your stats to be good and all that.
Yeah,
But when your stats are that good, that's when you're giving your team the best chance to win too, because you're doing your job.
yeah, exactly. But after after talking about the RVH and everything, like I wanna talk about like the trapezoid because like I know that's a bit of a controversy as well. Like I know like in the Fed and the SB or like the Fed, there's no trapezoid, but I don't think there is in the SB either, right? Or is there like the trapezoid rule?
There is an yeah, yeah. I've been playing with the trapezoid since I played with the trapezoid from I was 15 all the way until Quad City.
Gotcha.
Aside from my 2 years in Canadian college doesn't have college. I don't think any college league has it, but SP definitely has it, and get rid of it. There's no need for it. They talk about they want more goals scored. They want goalies to not play the puck as much. You know what? When you
Yeah.
get a goalie playing the puck, that's when you can catch other teams off guard and send guys on breakaways, especially some of the best goalies. Like in Danbury, I was there for 3 months. I only got 4 recorded, but I had 7 assists in the 3 months that I was there.
And it's because you're able
And
to play the
just
puck freely.
because, yeah, just because I was able to get into the corner and play the puck. Like my first two games, I had 3 assists. Pretty sure, if not three, it was two.
Yeah, they're just
Like,
so much easier and like because it gives everyone a benefit on your team because you're a third D
yeah,
man out there.
yeah, exactly. You know what? The goalies are getting smarter, they're getting better. Like, oh, the goalies are going to play. You know what? If you really want that puck to go into the corner, you have to soft chip it. And goalies are fast enough now these days; they can race out and grab it. I've
Yeah,
gone out and got so many times of penalty kills and just ice the puck right away. Like we find our ways around it. It's just a gamble at times. And in the minor leagues, some of the refs need to get with the rules. I remember when I was with Macon, we were playing against Fayetteville, and I got the puck. I stopped it just outside of the trapezoid. I pushed it behind me through the trapezoid. Didn't touch it. I was outside in front of it. Pushed it through to go behind the net because I was a little bit ways, and then I
yeah,
grabbed it afterwards. The ref called me for delay game penalty. I'm like, why'd you call me a penalty on that? He's like, because you played the puck through the trapezoid. I'm like, I pushed it when I was outside the trapezoid and then touched it again when it was behind the net. He says, you can't do that. And then I looked at him and I said, so am I not allowed to rim the puck? Because even though the puck's in the air, technically
Yeah,
goes
goes
through the
through it
trapezoid. So you got to find the fine line. And then he didn't say anything and skated away.
because he knew you were right after that.
Anytime I've challenged refs, it's insane. They skate away like a bunch of crybabies. Like it's like some refs are chill. Some refs will
Yeah,
actually have reason with you. I've had some refs come up to me and say, "Yeah, you were right. I should have called it this way." I'm like, "Yeah, I get it, but don't skate away. Don't skate away. Be a man."
yeah. Yeah, that's crazy that you got called for going for putting the puck through the trapezoid and then touching it on the other side. Like you said, you do the exact same thing on a rim and you're still playing it outside. So I don't know why it mattered.
I think they're just trying to help Fayetteville out because they were dead last and we were up like 5 rip on them.
Maybe that was the reason.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, they got to get rid of it now. Like it's a dumb Marty rule for Marty Turco and
Yeah,
Marty Bro, and it doesn't make any sense anymore. Just get rid of it. Let the goalies go out, and you know what? If we go out and we get hit and we get hit by a player because we go to play the puck, so be it. We took our own risk.
yeah.
If we touch the puck, goalies should be fair game. We put ourselves in a vulnerable position. We got to be ready for it. We got to learn how to take hits.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. Like if you're out there playing it, you're fair game. If they want to hit you, go for it.
Yeah, we gotta be able to take it. We're men. Obviously it's a rule that we can't. So if a goalie
Yeah.
gets drilled, we're looking for the call. But I don't think it should be a penalty. I think goalies should be fair game if they go outside their crease to play the puck.
Yeah, exactly. And like going along with like playing the puck, like going for like a goalie goal, like Alex Nedeljkovic scored yesterday in the American League. Like, what is your rule of thumb if a goalie is just gonna try to go for an empty net, like
Oh, if he's
leading
going
up
for
by
a goal
two, or don't?
up by two,
Yeah,
I think is good. But you know what? If there's like 10 seconds left and you're only up by a one, just go for it.
yeah,
You got a time. Coach calls a timeout. Team catches their legs if you missed, and then you just the team's going to play hardball in zone anyways. So because what do teams do now these days anyways? They just ice it. They keep icing it to
yeah,
catch their leg. They make sure their best centerman's out there to win draws, and they just keep icing it to catch their legs.
yeah, exactly. And like, I agree with like the two goal rule because like I don't want to put myself or like the team in a bad spot if go ahead and ice it and something happens. But like with like 10, 5, 10 or 8, 10 seconds left, why not? If you think you can get it over there, why not
Yeah,
go for it?
especially if it's depends on the game too. If it's like a game where you're up and if they were to tie it up, obviously you want to win and you want to
Yeah,
put the team first. But if it's like a game that doesn't really mean anything either, like last game of the season, standings aren't going to change, stuff like that. You can look at it
go
from that
for it.
point of view too. Yeah, go for it. Just depends too. Yeah, it's like playing and making saves. You got right time, right situation, all that same stuff. Same rules apply.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to move on to like the telling the head coaches to let goalie coaches decide who plays because I know you have like you're big into letting the goalie coach tell the head coach who to play. It's like what's your take on that?
Yeah, so with my Australian guys, basically the head coach gave me the thumbs up to decide who was going to start each game. And then for playoff weekend, we had a discussion about who we thought was going to be our playoff guy because our guys split the season pretty
Yeah,
much. I think our guy who played playoffs, Alexi, I'm pretty sure he played a couple more regular season games, but not many, maybe like four or five, four, something around there, give or take. But he just the coaches over there, especially when they have two number ones that are locals, they don't really know how to handle situations. And I would go, I would look at like each month, like, okay, he's going to play this game. If we win, then he's going to play this game. But like, I just kept going back and forth. I tried to make it logical and reasonable of who was going to play, make it fair, and also take into account the other factor I put into it. I put into it a little bit too was, these guys work full-time jobs and they work weekends too before they play. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to give so-and-so both games this weekend so he can work and just focus on that. And then the next weekend, he'll play both games. Like, it's just stuff like that. And, you gotta look at specific situations too. And like the worst thing a coach can do is go off of, if you win, you get to keep playing.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the dumbest rules I've ever seen a coach do. Like one of the smartest things I've seen with that though. So I'll give you a great example. So Kevin Kerr, assistant coach for Birmingham, his last year in Macon, and this is what his goalies told me. He said that if you win, you get to keep playing, but you had a 3-win maximum. So if you won 3 in a row, then the other guy was going to start the next game. That way he wasn't sitting cold for weeks at a time.
Yeah. So you're just getting,
but if you lost,
everyone
then the other guy,
but
if you lost, the other guy, yeah. But if you lost, and the other guy would go back in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you're not just
like that. And both their goalies were ECHL.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you're not.
And both goalies there that year.
I was gonna say that makes a lot of sense because like a goalie's not sitting for a week, 2 weeks, or three weeks and not playing. Like they're just getting equal playing time pretty much and just being able to stay hot.
Yeah, especially when they had 2 guys that were ECHL, AHL quality goalies. It was the COVID year where a lot of guys dropped down, and one of the goalies was Jake Toit.
Oh yeah, he's a stud too.
Oh yeah, great guy off the ice too. But and like here's like another dumb example, like because just an example of coaches not knowing what they're doing when they're playing their goalies. So I'll give you a Quad City example. So when I was in Quad, we had a weekend where we were in Macon twice, and then the third night in Birmingham. So the first game, my goalie partner played. We lost 5-4. We were winning 5-4 in regulation. The next night, we lost 1-0. I gave up a goal on a breakaway. When I made the original save, guy got his own rebound. The next night in Birmingham, who would you think would start that game?
You.
I didn't. My coach went with my goalie partner because I lost the game. And we won like 6-5 or something, a high scoring game and a shootout. And then the next weekend, I didn't start one game because my goalie partner kept playing after that.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Just you hope like you should be the one that was starting that next game.
And like, don't get me wrong, my goalie partner still played well in those games.
Yeah.
Like he got left out to dry in a couple and all that. But when the guy is supposed to be your main guy only gives up one goal and the team doesn't score for him, how do you sit him out that long? Like, that's what I mean. Like if you're going to go by win-lose, if your coach is going to play his goalies off of win-lose, you got to look at the outcome of the game too. And that's what I did with my Aussies too. I would say, you know what, if he wins this game, but I want to see how the game goes first, then we'll discuss who's going to start the next one, just to make it more. Because if the guy's hot, keep him playing. Like when I was in Knoxville, like I think 4 or 5 of my losses that year were 2-1 games. But Carr didn't. My coach, Carr, he didn't sit me out. He kept me going because I was playing well still. We only got with the 1 goal. Like goalies can't. Goalie goals don't win you games, and they don't happen often, right? Goalies can't win you games on the scoreboard unless they're just keeping out as much as they can.
Yeah, and you were doing your job. You just need more offense to produce more goals because you're holding them in within 1 to 2 goals every game.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't base who you're going to start off of a feeling. You got to go
Yeah.
with the guy that you know is your guy, and that's how you get him confidence. Like if you have a guy that you know is supposed to be your number one, and he has that one-off game, you know what? Either put him back in the next night or tell him, hey, I'm going to give so and so this game. You're going back the next two in a row. That's how
Yeah.
you give your confidence.
Yeah, and it's all about confidence. And once you have that confidence, like you're gonna start winning games, and everyone's gonna start trusting you.
Exactly. And when you have that confidence of knowing, oh, I know I had a bad game, but I'll be good the next night. Like I've had so many instances with certain coaches where I had a bad game and I thought I was going to get the next night as a rebound. Like, nope, didn't play for maybe another 2 or 3 weeks, and then my confidence shot. And I know control only way you can control, but you know what?
Yeah.
I was at a point where I've earned my spot and I know what I'm capable of, and everybody sees how badly I want to keep playing that I shouldn't have had to have waited 3 weeks to get my next chance.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And just like what's some advice that you give, like if goalies are in like that place where it's like they're not playing for whatever amount of weeks or whatever, and like they're not just
If you're
it's
young,
unfair. Like what's some advice you'd give?
if you're young or you're new to the league, and you know it's a league that's above where that you're not used to, just you got to pay your dues. Everybody has
Yeah.
to pay your dues. I did it in the OHL, I did it in college, I did it in the SPHL. You know, I got my fair share in the coast where I didn't get much of a chance to start anywhere. But you know what? I paid my dues, and I got to a point where in my career I was content with where I was, and I knew that I could be the guy in the SP for whatever team I was playing for. That you know I just got to keep working hard in practice and showing the coaches what I have at the table still, and that's the best thing I can do. If you're a guy that's been around a long time and you're wondering what's going on, you know that your coach has your coach has an actual open door policy,
Yeah.
then go talk to him and ask him, hey, I'm just curious, like, what's your take on this? And after you give me your take, can I give you my take so you can understand it from my point of view? Because a lot of coaches don't understand goaltending. They don't
Yeah.
understand the physical part of it. They don't understand the mental side of it. And that's where a goalie coach who played a long time that understands goaltending comes into play, that can help the head coaches make these decisions.
Yeah, and it's good to have a guy that's been there, been through, paid all his dues, everything like that, knows what it takes to get to the top level, and just have a guy that's there that actually knows the position of goaltending. Like it'll help a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know, like you're in Watertown right now and you're grinding it out. It's your first time really being with the Fed team. You're paying your dues right now. Eventually your
Yeah,
time's going to come. You just got to keep working and showing the coach that you want to be there and that you're ready to go. And then when your moment comes, that's when you got to be ready to rock and roll.
yeah, exactly. And it's just about being a good teammate and doing everything I can to help the team and just get better every single day.
Yeah. And here's my other advice. If you are a new guy in a league and you're handed everything to you right away, you better be humble about it, because if you're
Yeah.
not and you show the wrong emotions and show that, you think you're better than everybody else, you won't have a long playing career and you won't move forward very quick.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot to learn. Like when
Doesn't
you're given that opportunity, you
it doesn't
gotta take
matter.
advantage of it. Just gotta take advantage of the
Yep,
opportunity, and
like my first
and
year
then
in
pay
the
your
SP.
dues.
Yep. Like my first year in the SP, I came in, I ended up getting the starting job. I got hurt. The starter from the year before who won the championship with Pensacola, he came back down. I became a third goalie for a while. And then eventually I just became the backup for the rest of the year. But you know what? I was still ready to go whenever it was my time to play. I didn't take anything for granted. And then the next season, I got the starting job with the Mississippi River Kings. So it's just a matter of, just like you said, be a good teammate, be ready for your opportunities, and take advantage of them all.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a great place to wrap up. And like everything you said has been great. And like I love having conversations with you like this. And like even if we tackle the controversy of goaltending, like it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you coming on, Mad Dog.
No, appreciate it, Jack. Thanks for having me again, man.
Yeah, of course.